When the wicked rules, the people live in tears and fears. But when the righteous rules, the people rejoice. There's no doubt the Edo State Civil Service has witnessed a new dawn of glory since the inauguration of Mr. Godwin Nogegase Obaseki as the Chief Executive Governor of Edo State on November 12, 2016. In this exclusive documentary on the transformation and reformation of the Edo State Civil Service, the Governor, His Excellency Mr. Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, led us into what inspired him to reform and transform the Edo State Civil Service.
Everywhere in the world where you have institutions, you normally have a bureaucracy that run the institution. In the case of government, the civil service is that bureaucracy that is responsible for making government function. The civil service, being the bureaucracy, ensures that things are done the way we have agreed that they should be done as per the Constitution. So elections will happen periodically, but the civil service is that institution that allows the politician or the new government to be able to carry out its programs and policies. And over the years, from independence through the various coups, through the Civil War, the civil service has been greatly affected. And in the case of Edo, it had become challenged. One of the big challenges we found is we saw the civil service as an aging workforce. The civil service was not being renewed. There were long spells in which people were not recruited into the civil service. Even when they were recruited, there was not a structured and organized training for them to help them do the work you expect them to do. So, coming in as governor, it was very clear to me that if we had to succeed as an administration, we had to succeed as a government, one of the key things to do will be to re-energize the civil service, to first retool and reskill the civil service. The good thing is that a lot of the civil servants, are very qualified. They went to universities, they were hired through a system. So they're not people who don't know, they're not dullards. But if you hire a man for 20 years, you helped the person improve, you haven't trained the person, the person will continue to do what they knew how to do 20 years ago. So you have to reskill the civil service, you have to retool the civil service. It was very clear to us. And for us, that whole process required first looking at the design of the public service, looking at the design of the civil service in its entirety, and looking at what are the critical things you need to do. The first we realized was to give the civil servant a sense of self-worth and certainty. Certainty that you will be respected, your job is secure, and on a certain date every month, come rain, come sun, you will earn your pay, your salary. So that certainty and sense of self-esteem had to first be restored in the civil service.
The engine room of Edo State Civil Service, HOS Head of Service, Barrister Anthony Okungbowa, has this to say.
The reform has been in multifarious areas of the civil service. You have had in terms of content, broadly, break it down. In terms of content, you have had the welfare content of that reform agenda. We have also had the infrastructural development content of that agenda. And of course, the third portion of it, which I refer to as the intellectual resource development component of that agenda. And then for the specifics, that in terms of welfare, this administration has placed the welfare of workers at the front burner in terms of government affairs and government efforts. As we speak, this moment, workers in the state receive their salaries before or not before 24th of the month. And you know the fact that that has resulted in some kind of confidence on the part of the civil service. And of course, we may not be the best earners in the world, but when your salaries come as and when due, you're able to plan, with it. And then you can also borrow, knowing that at the end of the month, your money will come and then you can pay. It's been the same with pensions. But that of pensions has been a lot more far-reaching and a lot more instructive. The pension payment system has been reformed by this administration, and that reform has seen to it that there's been this smooth transition or seamlessness in the moving from the salary payroll to the pension payroll. And what that means is that if you retire today, by next month, your name would have transited from the salary payroll to the pension payroll, and so you begin to receive your pension regularly, just like civil servants receive their salaries. And so for every civil servant, that's a confidence booster. Because, before you used to think, oh, well, when I retire, how is my life going to be? But now it's a lot different, because you know that the moment you step out of work, you're stepping into another round of receipt, regular receipt of your entitlements in the form of pension. So that's something that has been done, and that's quite significant. Beyond that, very well that last year there was an adjustment in the minimum wage, and ordinarily when such adjustments come, there's this hue and cry, there's this animosity, there's this bad blood that it engenders between government and the civil service, represented by the labor unions. But last year, when the adjustment came, the way government handled it, it was quite seamless and smooth. And that ensured that before civil servants woke up, they already had, the adjustment in their salaries without having to agitate for it. That again also is a testament of the fact that there is a cordial relationship between government and the workers through labor. And that's why, like the question you asked directly, there has been no industrial action in the main civil service since the beginning or the inception of this administration.
Without mincing words, the most prominent aspect of the performance profile of Governor Godwin Noregase Obaseki regards the civil service is the improvement in the lives of pensioners in Edo State. Before he came on board as the governor of the state in 2016, civil servants used to see retirement as a period of neglect and punishment. Residents of the state will not forget in a hurry when senior citizens who have served the state meritoriously, clad in black, besieged major streets in Benin City metropolis to protest over unpaid pensions and gratuities. It is on record that some pensioners fainted or even died on queue for screening in empty hopes for being paid the pensions and gratuities which ought to be their rights. Most disturbing is the fact that these senior citizens have put in the better part of their lives in service to the state. Pastor Ehimare Claudette retired as headmistress of Lower Primary School, Benin City, while Mr. Benjamin Osagi and Mr. Lamidi Salami also testified to Governor Obaseki's passion to make the senior citizens smile after retirement.
I retired the year 2010. When the governor came in, they were owing us about 10 months arrears. That is between 2015 2014. He cleared it for us. He is a listening governor.
I retired at Edo College as a schoolmaster. Since our present governor came on board, we have seen him to be a listening governor who is a friend of pensioners. Many things bad had happened before his arrival, but since he came on board, pensioners have been very, very happy. All arrears have been paid. Salaries have been paid as when due. The first of its type to see that pensioners are paid, especially the last month before the end of the month. It has never happened. We no longer have debt to our landlord. We feed as it is concerned. We are well fed. So there is no governor that has worked since we have seen him working. He's a listening governor.
In fact, the governor of the state has been responsive to all our needs.
Edo State Council Chairman of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Mr. Pulin Norua, corroborates the above glowing testimonies to Governor Obaseki's genuine interest in the welfare of pensioners.
Early this year, the arrears have fully been paid for state pensioners. In fact, that amount was owed state pensioners. For those who retired between 2010 to 2018, it has been completely been liquidated now. And while that one was being paid, there was this discussion that we do not want to pay arrears again. And in the process, government now have to come with an idea that as you are retiring to pension. Instead of waiting for 3 years, 4 years before you are placed on pension payroll. But this time around, if you retire, you earn your salary this month and you are ending up this month, next month you are on payroll. The only thing that will make it impossible for you to be on payroll that very period is your failure to process your paper. You have about 6 months. You have about 6 months to process your papers. Before, when you know you have 6 months to the time you want to retire, you start processing your papers. And before the end of that 6 months, your paper would have been fully processed. But if you ignore it and you retire and you are not placed on payroll, the arrears that may come on, government told them that they won't pay because it is your fault. If no, government is prepared to pay you as at the time you retire. You will see some people talking in the television say, yes, we have never had it so good, and it is very, very correct. The pensioners have never had it so good. For a pensioner to retire this month and then the next month is on pension, he has already earned his last salary as a worker. Then the next month is earning pension. It has never been so good. It is in his time that we are. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying this for political anything. I'm saying the correct thing. What I have experienced, apart from being a pensioner now, before I became a pensioner, I was preparing pension because I was in the accounts in the Account General's office. I was preparing pension. I was paying pension. Those days when you used to pay by hand, I was paying pension, so I know a lot about pension.
Even those in service have the governor to thank for the regular and prompt payment of salaries and allowances, latest the 26th of every month. Retirees are now sure of their monthly pensions, the month they retire from the civil service of Edo State. This is an act which civil servants never thought would be possible in view of the atmosphere of distraught engendered by those who were in the corridors of power before Governor Godwin Nogegase Obaseki came on board.
He has impressed me on the area of salary. On the area of salary and on the area of the full implementation of the minimum wage. On the minimum wage, my salary has improved tremendously, and that gives me a lot of joy. And to make the matter more better, at every 25th of every month, I get my salary. Even with coronavirus pandemic, my salary has not come short. It comes as and when due. And by 25th, 12 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, my salary is already out. And on that ground, I am very, very impressed with the governor and my other senior officers who has left the service, pensioners. Some live in my area, we talk, and they get their pensions as and when due. As you retire, your pension money comes immediately. And for that, I am very, very happy with his administration. And we pray that he continues in that same manner should he be re-elected.
I want to commend the effort of our governor, our able governor, His Excellency Nogogase Obaseki, Godwin Obaseki, who has been prompt in payment of salaries. Since I gained employment, there has never been a month that he has owed me as a civil servant. I believe every other civil servant can attest to this. Also, he has been able to renovate our building to a state-of-the-art facility. Our office can compete favorably with banks, with other multinational industries. Our ACs are working, all of our working equipment are in place.
The Permanent Secretary of Edo State Pensions Bureau, Mr. Sailor Juwobo, gives more insight into the state government's resolve to address issues affecting pensioners in Edo State.
We had issues of unpaid pension arrears dating back to 1996. We had issues on unpaid gratuity, also dating back to 1996. We have issues of death benefits, that is, benefits for families of deceased employees. So all these issues were left unresolved until the administration came on board. So a machinery was put in place to devise a holistic, organized, sequential phase payment plan. Now, like I said, the issues are many: pension arrears, death benefit, gratuity, upward review or harmonization. So the government thought it wise that instead of tackling them all along, the resources are not there. So we came up with the idea of taking one of the issues at a time. So government opted for the pension arrears payments, because that one will benefit almost every pensioner who have retired. Because before, when somebody retires, it takes 6 months to 1 year, in some extreme cases 2-3 years before they are placed on monthly pension payroll. That was why the arrears became very unmanageable. So we started by the payment of pension arrears beginning from November 2017. Started from batch 37. And all through the years, all through the months from November 2016 to May 2020, we have cleared batches 37 to 65. And the government expended 4.3 billion naira on that.
This paradigm shift in the Edo State civil service would not have been possible without the input of a professional in civil service reforms. Mr. Christopher Osasu Osaramese is the consultant to Edo State civil service transformation. He described the civil service as the engine room for the delivery of the policies and programs of government.
The Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, as part of his transformation agenda, very quickly realized that for him to deliver on the vision and the mission of Edo State, he needed a very strong civil service. So consequently, he started looking for strong consultancy organizations that can help him transform the civil service. This was how he made contact with us, and this was how we got interviewed and invited to come and support the effort. And what he was trying to achieve was premised on the fact that the civil service is the engine room for the delivery of state government aspirations. So the programs, the policies of state government is delivered via the civil service. Therefore, it was critical for the civil service to have the requisite capacity in terms of organizational capacity and human capacity required to deliver on the state government aspirations. So we came in and like any good project, we were required to do a pilot. The pilot entailed 2 MDAs. That was the Ministry of Finance and the Office of the Accountant General. So this was the 2 MDAs we started with.
To provide a comfortable atmosphere for the discharge of their duties, the state government, under the leadership of Governor Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, has, amongst other achievements, renovated the Secretariat Building and Block D, both on Sapele Road in Benin City. Also, as incentive for workers and to improve workers' welfare, the governor has provided digital equipment for the state-owned broadcast outfit, Edo Broadcasting Service, EBS Radio and Television. Labor-government relations has been excellent. Nonetheless, the fulfillment and the implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage. In the same vein, the infrastructural upgrade across the length and breadth of the state is not limited to the civil service, as substantiated by the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Edward John Erimona.
Since the inception of the present administration in 2016, there's been a lot of reform in the civil service. For us in the Ministry of Physical Planning, we have been very key to this transformation and reform in the civil service. Our role has been basically in improving, remodeling, reconstructing the buildings that house the civil service, and also in furnishing these buildings to meet with best practice. Some of the notable buildings that have been constructed during this administration are the Chief John Odigen Oyegun's Training Center within the GRA, where you have a variety of training halls that could be used in training the civil servants for better and optimum performance. You also have renovation and completion of many of the abandoned structures within the Secretariat complex. Notable amongst this is the Block C, which was basically abandoned for over 40 years. If you go there today, it's a world-class structure for the civil service, fully furnished. You have the Block D, which was also fully renovated with world-class furniture and equipments fit for the civil service. You have the Block D Annex, which was also fully built within the same time frame. You have the Civic Center that is also within this complex that was constructed and completed also within this period. You have the ICT. ICT has also received a boost. ICT has a very, very crucial role to play in the reform of the civil service. And ICT has a new building, fully equipped with world-class equipment, with fully furnished, well-built, serene environment within the same premises as you have the Chief Odigen Oyegun's Training Center. So these are just a few of the projects that have been commenced and concluded within this administration.
The Assistant Chief State Counsel, Orbosa Okumbo, also elaborates on Governor Obaseki's efforts to improve the condition of service in the Ministry of Justice.
A lot of training has taken place since the governor came on board. Or you don't need to lobby for it. You just sit down, somebody will just call you that your name has been submitted. You have to go for a training in Abuja. You have to go for a training in Asaba. You have to go for a training in Lagos. Some of us have even gone abroad. I, in particular, I was trained in Italy. I was there for 2 weeks. And that has never happened before. I've been here for 10 years. So in 2019, that was last year, I was in Italy for a 2 weeks training. And about some of our state councils, 2 of them went to the US for a training. Some of them also went to Swaziland for a training. So that has never happened before. And I don't think there's any state council who has not undergone one form of training or the other since the inception of this government. The normal tradition before was when the MBA conference is coming, we try to, we want to go, we all go. That was done to an extent during the previous government. Then at the point, it just stopped completely. But now, training is all around. You don't have to ask. You just be sitting there, they will just call you that you are going for training next week. Get prepared, you go. And that is something that, to me, is it's something that we were not used to before, and I think that is very impressive. And also, I also want to talk about the fact that we now have a new building, because the Block C now, we're giving 3 floors there. The new Block C, that is in the Secretariat, we'll be giving 3 floors there. And the Department of Public Prosecutions they're already there.
To ensure the maintenance of these facilities put in place by Governor Obaseki's administration, facilities management outfit was hired to devise measures to ensure that the purpose of the infrastructure facilities are not defective. Mr. Bobby Edegbo, a representative of the Facilities Management Organization, gives a brief on this.
We're engaged by the current administration of His Excellency Godwin Obaseki to look into the management of all government facilities across the 18 local government of the state, and outside the state where the government has facilities. So that is why we're here to set up an agency called Edo State Infrastructure Asset Management Agency to take care of all government facilities in all the 18 local governments of the state. And this will cascade to providing employment to the teeming youths of Edo State, very vibrant, intelligent, and wonderful youths. Across all the professionals, architects, quantity surveyors, engineers, then artisans, masons, electricians, plumbers, and in all these local government. And we're starting basically with the new, the new structures in the new secretariat and the government buildings around here, while we cascade to the local government, where government has infrastructures. Is it schools? Is it hospitals? All government infrastructures. Now, this will create a new niche for the people of Edo State to own these facilities, and not the past eras where we have people just looking at the facilities going into decay. Now, the new feelings or the new thinking is to own these facilities and maintain them for posterity, so that none of this infrastructure will go into decay again.
Having written his name in gold in the hearts of civil servants and pensioners in Edo State, despite the meager resources in the state, he gave an insight into what he expects of the civil service when he is through with the Reformation.
We have close to 60,000 public servants, and it costs us about 30 billion or so on an annual basis to remunerate them or compensate them. From what I have seen, the jury's out. Are we getting 30 billion of value from these people we're paying? So the purpose is that it's like value for money, So you want to get a full day's job from the person you have paid a full day's pay. And you can only do that when you do several things. Like I said, it's not that they're not willing to in some cases, but they have to be thought to, they have to be helped, they have to be energized, they have to be motivated to be able to deliver service and value. And we're beginning to see, you'll see changes. Take the teachers, for instance. We're just retraining these teachers and giving them the tools. Our children are learning better. So, so we're likely to produce another generation of children who have been properly trained at the basic level. If we extend that to healthcare, whether at the primary level or the secondary or the specialist level, if we extend that to the environment, if we extend that to everything we're doing, you find out that society will totally be better for it.
Governor Godwin Norregasi Obaseki was awarded Best Performing Governor in 2019 in Nigeria for his impact in the Edo Best program, as well as his prioritization of teachers' welfare in the state, which has led to improved outcome in primary schools across Edo State. God bless Governor Godwin Obaseki. God bless Edolites at home and diaspora.